Hello everyone and welcome to Merlin's Manor. Today I'm going over the games that I played for the first time in the month of November. And there are 5 games on this list. I'm going to give you my first impressions, thoughts on these games, as well as a preliminary rating out of 10 for these games. Keep in mind that these are games I've just played a few times, and so these are just very preliminary. My thoughts on these might change over the course of time as I play them more often. Let's get right on into the list with the first one, starting with the one that I played the most in the month of November, and that is Junk Drawer. This game I played 5 times in the month of November, and I'm going to give it a preliminary rating of 7 out of 10. This is a filler polyomino placement game. It's very simple to learn, and you've got different goals that you're going to be going after that are going to be of different degrees of difficulty. You can use all easy goals, or all medium goals, or hard goals, or you can mix those goals up. And basically there's going to be 4 different goals you're going after each game, and each one is in a different quadrant on your junk drawer board. And so there may be one that wants you to have certain spaces not filled in, you'll get points for that, or gaps that are a certain size that you'll get points for. Or there'll be ones that want you to fill in certain areas, or you might have goals that want you to put the most pieces in, and you get points per piece that you put in there. And so you're going to be basically placing out one tile in each quadrant for each round. And so you have 4 different tiles you're going to place. Once you've placed one in a quadrant, you can't place any more in that quadrant until you've placed the other 3 and the new round starts. And so sometimes you'll place something in a quadrant, and then something even better would come up, and it's like, well, I have to put it somewhere else. And whenever you can't place a tile at all, then you are out of the game. And so you want to be careful about where you place things so that you don't get kicked out of the game. There's 2 different variants on this. You can either play where players are out of the game once they can't place something, and then everybody else keeps playing, or once somebody can't place, then everybody's, that's the last round for everybody there. And so it's a very fun, light, simple game with a bit of a puzzly strategy to it. I've enjoyed the 5 plays that I've played of it. Again, I'm rating it a 7 out of 10. Recommend this game if you enjoy polyomino tile placement games. The next game on my list is the Siege of Runedar. I played this game 3 times in the month of November, and I'm giving a rating of 8 out of 10. Very tentative on this one. We played it wrong the first 2 times and made it a lot harder on ourselves, and so I couldn't really base those first 2 games as far as a rating at all because I played very differently. What we had done wrong was that we had left the siege thing that puts the trolls in as well as the catapults out even after it put one in, thinking that you still had to get rid of it, when actually once a troll comes out or once the catapult fires, it would actually go back into the ready. And so once we played that the 3rd time the correct way, it was a little bit easier to handle after playing on super hard mode a couple times. We've enjoyed this game. It's a tower defense game. You're fending off orcs and defeating trolls and goblins while trying to dig out rocks to escape with your gold. Orcs are going to be moving. They're going to spawn in, first of all, where the cards tell them to spawn in outside your fort, and then certain cards are going to have them activate and come in. And so they're going to first come up to the top of the wall, and they're going to come into the workshops, and then if they activate again, they're going to go into the center, where they're going to steal the gold and escape. And so you're trying to keep them from getting into that gold and grabbing it too much, because if you ever run out of gold, then you lose the game. If 5 trolls come in, or if 5 catapults fire over the course of the game, you also lose. And so when those things come out that are going to be preparing to send a troll in, or the catapult comes out, you want to try and defeat that before it has a chance to fire off. There's also, when the catapults fire off, they also cause you to not be able to use certain parts of the market anymore. And cards go away from the market where you can upgrade your cards. And so you want to try and take those out for a couple of different reasons. Trolls are going to get in the way of you being able to dig out, and so you also want to get rid of them for that reason. Whenever you do dig out a certain area, that's when the gremlins are going to come in. They're going to have a certain condition that they're going to want you to handle before they go away. And then you got multi-use cards. All the cards are multi-use. You can use all the cards for movement, or you can use them for one or 2 different abilities, depending what's printed on the card. Actually, some of them even have 3 or 4 abilities on them, to either melee attack, or use a crossbow attack, or craft resources when you're in a certain area that has the workshop that has that resource. Or you can use the pickaxe symbol to dig out so that you can get towards accomplishing that final goal there. And as you upgrade cards, you're going to be getting rid of a card from your hands. You're always going to have the same amount of cards throughout the game, but you're getting rid of your weaker cards that you start out with and getting these stronger cards along the way. And so it's a very fun tower defense game. I've enjoyed it. I've got to play it a few more times now that we are playing it correctly to really hash out whether this is an 8 for me or not. And so right now, though, tentatively, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. Okay, the next game I'm going to talk about here is Catan History's Settlers of America, which we played 2 times in the month of November. And this is my preferred version of Catan. I'm not really a big fan of Catan. It's okay. I'd rather not play it usually, but I did enjoy this version better than other versions, and I enjoy the German version better than base Catan. And one of the reasons why I enjoy the American one here better than all the other ones I've played so far is that you have some luck mitigation that you don't have in the other versions. And so what's going to happen is if the dice are rolled and you don't get any resources from them, then you will at least get a gold, and you can turn in 2 gold to be any resource. You also get gold for a few other different ways throughout the game. You can get 1 per track that you build into a city that hasn't been built into yet. Another way you can get gold is certain cities will give you 2 or 3 gold for establishing a city there. And so there's a few different ways you get gold, as well as some cards will give you some gold as well, and then you can use those in place of resources 2 to 1 there to be able to build things out. And so it's not all reliant on what you're able to get from dice rolls. Another thing that I enjoy about this game, it's a little bit more complex strategy-wise than basic Catan is. In basic Catan, you're just trying to be the first person to get to 10 points. But in this one, you are building out each of your cities. You have to build all the cities that you have. And then you also have to deliver goods to the various cities that are not yours. And so there's a little extra wrinkle of strategy there, in that you are trying to not only focus on building out your cities and getting points. You don't even get points in this game, but you're trying to also then build out rails to get to the different locations and then deliver to those locations. And if somebody else has got a rail there, you can actually spend to use their rail as well to get to a city and give them a gold for that. And so I've enjoyed this version so far more than others. I'm going to have to play a few more times to really cement in whether I like this one a lot more or not. But so far I have enjoyed it better than the other versions of Catan. And so that is Catan History's Settlers of America. And then the next one that we played is a little game called Silver and Gold. This is a flip and write game that is, you have dry erase that you are writing on. And you're basically going to have these island tiles in front of you that you're going to be using to search for treasure. And basically what you're doing is you're getting these polyominoes are going to flip. You're going to flip over cards. It's going to tell you what polyomino shape to draw onto your board. You're just basically going to X off in the shape of that polyomino. If you cover up a palm tree, you're going to get some bonus points for doing that. Cover up an X, you get to mark off another square. If you cover up a coin, you get to mark off a coin, which is going to be a point at the end of the game. Plus, every 4 coins that you put on there, you get to claim a trophy. The first person that claims a trophy is going to get 6 points, then 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, so forth and throughout the game. And so you're going to be scoring points those different ways. You score points for each island that you complete, and they range from 8 to 14 points. You've got some bonus points that you can get from certain islands. Will give you bonus points for every certain color that you scored. So it might be 2 bonus points for every purple that you've scored, or maybe 1 bonus point for every gray that you scored. And so you get to go ahead and get those bonus points for that. And then whoever has the most points at the end of the game wins. It's a very simple flip and write polyomino game. A similar concept to a game that I had reviewed on my channel called Chateau. I think they may have borrowed some of the concepts in that game from Silver and Gold. And you're just basically crossing off those different squares, trying to score as many points as you can. Very simple. I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10. We played it 2 times in the month of November, and we played it 2 times additionally at the beginning of December here. And so 4 times total, but 2 in the month of November. Silver and Gold. And the final game that I'm going to bring up, the final game we played for the first time in the month of November, is Vadoran Gardens. And this is a game by Frank West with the City of Games. We've really enjoyed Isle of Cats and Race for the Raft, and we have City of Kings as well. And so this is the one that we were missing. We got it recently in the refresh pack that he had going on there, festival pack, and we went ahead and got this game as a part of that. and I've enjoyed it so far. We've played it 2 times in the month of November and an additional time here in the month of December. I'm giving it a tentative rating of 7.5 out of 10. That may go up a little bit more as I play it. I'm being a little bit conservative here with my rating so far. And it's a very puzzly game. I really enjoy that nature. I enjoy puzzly games where you really have to kind of rack your brain to figure out what you're going to do to be able to score out the most points there. And what you're doing here is you are going to be placing down these squares that have different types of terrain on them. And within those terrain, you've got these different symbols. And you have to have at least 3 symbols in an area of terrain to be able to score points for that terrain area. And then you score 1 point per each square that's in that connected terrain. You also have these bonus cards going on that you are trying to fulfill faster than other players to get more points than them, but they can be scored up to 3 times from different players, but you can only score any goal 1 time yourself. And so you're trying to figure out how you can get these certain criteria met, whether it's having 4 different animals or maybe 4 of the same animal or 4 different flowers, different types of things. There's some that have like 2 of the same and 2 of another same. All kinds of different goals that you can be focusing on for the symbols, as well as trying to score different areas of terrain as much as you can. It's a lot of fun. You also have tools that you're going to be getting with some of the cards that if you have the place to return them at the end of the game uncovered still, then you can return that tool for 5 points. And you also have a 7-point bonus that if you can connect that to a scoring area of the same color, you get 7 points there. And so there's quite a few different things going on in this game. In order to be able to place a tile, you have to have the matching symbol that is for that round. Or some of them don't have a symbol necessarily. You can have anything placed, but you have another condition going on. Maybe you have to flip the tile because all of them have to be oriented a certain way, except in the rounds where you're flipping it, it has to be upside down. Or there's one where you have 2 different tiles that are going to be put together vertically or 2 different tiles put together horizontally, and you have to place multiples out and make it work that way, which can be tricky sometimes. Trickier than just placing the 1 tile often. So there's a lot of cool stuff going on in this game as far as having to puzzle out how you can get these things lined up so that you can score points. There's an interesting King Domino style first player thing going on where whoever chooses the leftmost tile out of everyone gets to go first next round, and the next one over is second and third and fourth, so forth. And the ones that are on the left side are often the ones that have been left behind in previous rounds, at least after the first couple rounds that you go. And so they're the ones that people didn't want last time, but if you go after that one this time, you'll be first player in the next round. So there's some incentive to go ahead and do that. And so I enjoyed this game. It's got a lot of cool stuff going on. Again, rating a 7.5 out of 10. That may go up a little bit, being a little conservative right now, but I've enjoyed the puzzly nature of this game. Very satisfying how to work out how to place your squares to score the most points that you can, completing all those different goals. So these are the 5 games that I played in the month of November. I've enjoyed all these games very much. I can recommend each and every one of these games, especially surprised that Catan was as satisfying for me as it was, as it's not one of my favorite games, but I enjoyed this version more than the other ones. I had quite a few different polyomino-based games, or a couple polyomino-based games in here enjoyed. My first real big tower defense game here, and I've enjoyed all these games that we played. I can recommend all of them. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that like button if you did, and you can check out some of my other videos. Here's a review of Chateau that you can check out if you're interested in a similar style game to Silver and Gold. And I got a couple other videos that you can check out as well, and subscribe if you'd like to see more videos. And as always, I will catch you in the next one.